Welcome everyone to episode 43 of Around the Book podcast, where this week we're scraping the bottom of the barrel for American sports, trying to find out what we can bet on. There's plenty of soccer going on, plenty of stuff with the Olympics going on. Just saw you can bet on the Nathan's hot dog eating contest coming up, even though it's bullcrap and it should be protested. For not having one of the best guys to ever do it in the competition, but it's whatever. But yeah, so obviously we'll get started here. We'll start like we usually do, golf. That's usually a pretty constant thing we can bet on here. We do have the Rocket Mortgage Classic this weekend. I didn't really have, or I did have a little bit of success last week. Betting my parlay did hit. There was a leg where it was a dead heat, so it dropped the odds dramatically, and the payout wasn't as great, but it was still a winner. So we'll take it.
Nice.
I'm gonna do another parlay here, and I'm just gonna take this one safe. And I say that, and it's never safe because it is betting. But I got four guys to go top 30. I have Tom Kim, Cameron Young, Minwoo Lee, which note those are the top three guys in this tournament this weekend, and Will Zalatoris. So I have all four of them to finish top 30. If you parlay that together, it's a plus 675. So I think that's great odds for a what seems to be not so risky bet, but it is golf, and it just takes one of these guys to have the yips that day, and they just don't do anything. So that is my pick for this weekend. You said you do have some picks for golf this week, right?
Yeah, I got just a little 3-leg parlay, pretty much along the same lines as you. I haven't bet golf in like 2 weeks now, and my bank account is probably the healthiest it's been since golf started this year. But
Yeah.
just coming back to it, just trying to take it easy. So I kind of followed the same logic. I literally looked at the top 5 from the Travelers Championship last weekend, and I feel like from the odds perspective, this tournament this weekend is kind of wide open because there's not really a clear favorite, and there's pretty good odds at least on everybody. So I'm also taking Kim and Cameron Young. I think 1,200 for Kim and 1,600 for Young is really good value, especially after Young just became the 13th player to shoot under 60 on the tour, which is crazy. And then I'm also taking Bhatia at plus 2,000. I think that's also good value. He's been a little inconsistent this year, but I think he's only 21. So that's a little bit to be expected. And his last couple tournaments, especially last week, he's been playing really well and a bit more consistent. So I think plus 2,000 for him to win is decent odds, but also I like all of these for top 10 and top 20. Top 10, it's 160 for Kim, 200 for Young, and 240 for Bhatia, and I feel like that's pretty solid value for each. So I'm kind of trying to just be simple this week.
Yeah.
And literally just take some of the guys from the top 5 last week. And maybe that'll look to be stupid, but that's how I've looked so far this year anyways with golf. So I don't really have anything to lose at this point.
And these guys should excel because your big dogs aren't in this tournament this weekend. Like you're used to seeing in the top 5 every weekend. Some of these guys are in the mix more consistently, but these guys should excel this weekend.
Yeah.
I do, before we get started, I do have a bet for our parlay for the Cubs Giants game that's about to start here in a few minutes. It's a 4-pick parlay. I have the Giants at plus 1.5. Ian Happ over half a hit, so Ian Happ to get a hit, and Jorge Soler to get a hit, and over 7 runs. I did get a profit boost on that, so it's without the profit boost, it's at plus 405, but with it, I got it at plus 607. So
nice.
If you want to follow that, that's anyone out there that's coming up. I guess we'll move on to Motorsports, our Zoom Zooms. We have Ally 400 this weekend for NASCAR. I just have one bet, and I'm going back to the well here. I did this like maybe I don't know, like 6 or 7 episodes ago, where I just consistently bet on Denny Hamlin to finish top 3, and it just kept hitting in a row. Then I went away from it, so I'm going back to the well here. Denny Hamlin top 3 finish at plus 160. I think that's great value for him. I think he's second or third favorite in this race this weekend. So I'll take him at top 3 at plus 160. But that's all I have.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that also. That sounds like really good logic to me. So
yeah,
I'll trail that. I have 2 F1 bets this week. Trying to be a little bit simple here too, but I'm my first one. They're both just for outright winners, but my first one is Lando Norris at plus 1,000. The McLarens have honestly they've kind of statistically, I wouldn't say so, but just from watching the races, they look faster than Red Bull's cars this year. And that's put Norris in the top 3 almost every week this year. He's only got 1 win, but he's been like 2 or 3, like at least the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I think it's always a safe bet to bet on Max Verstappen, but I think plus 1,000 is pretty good value for someone who's consistently there, and he's in what seems to be the fastest car this year. And then I also like Charles Leclerc at plus 1,800. After he won about a month ago, he's had did not finish because of an engine failure and 6th place, I think, last week in Spain. So his values kind of tanked a little bit, but for the most part, he's been consistently near the top throughout this year as well. And at third favorite plus 1,800 is also good value. So
yeah,
it might look stupid because honestly, Verstappen will probably just win like he always does. But I think there's a chance for some good money, and it's not too unrealistic for either of those because they'll probably both finish in the top 5.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, he has won, so it's like he has it in him. He can do it. He just has to do it. I don't have any F1, but I will probably trail that at plus 1,800. That's great odds. And if he just has another good weekend, you never know.
Yeah, honestly, with F1 too, when we do the show on Wednesday, they don't really do qualifying until I think like the day before, so like Saturday. So
yeah,
like if someone gets pole, they're probably, unless they really have a like severe mess up, they probably will finish in the top 5. Like that's another time. I'm gonna have to start tweeting out some odds after qualifying because they'll change a lot.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So what should we look at next? All right. We can look at next. I guess the next biggest, well, not the next biggest. This is probably the biggest sport going on right now, and that's just soccer in general. With all these tournaments going on, I do have a bet for the Copa America tournament. And where is that? There it is. So I have these for the 2 games tomorrow. There's Panama and USA. And I parlayed these 2 picks. I took the US at minus 1.5 goals. And then I took the Uruguay and Bolivia. The Uruguay and Bolivia game. That's also tomorrow. I took Uruguay at minus 1.5 as well. Now, if you parlay those together, it's at plus 181. So it's not anything crazy, but theoretically, both these teams should take care of business. It's just, will they do it? So I have faith, minus 1.5 for both favorites. And both those games are tomorrow night. So, do you have any soccer for this weekend?
I got a couple of them. The first one that I'm taking is, well, I have 2 Copa America bets. For tonight, I have Mexico and Venezuela drawing at plus 125. I just feel like both of these teams are good enough to advance in their group, but neither of them are really like that great. So I
Yeah.
think they're very evenly matched. They're 0-0 at halftime. I haven't watched, but I'm assuming the game's probably been pretty slow. And the draw is tied for the best odds to happen also. So at plus 125, it could work out and be an easy little hit there. Panama and the USA tomorrow, I'm betting a draw at plus 425. The USA is definitely a lot more talented than Panama, but they have a bad coach and they just underperform constantly. So I think they've drawn with Panama the last time they played, or one of the last times they played. They're more evenly matched when they play than it might seem. And this could look stupid because USA is a pretty big favorite in this one. But I think just with how much the USA underperforms, I think 425 is decent value. And then I also, for the Euros tomorrow, I have a draw between Italy and Switzerland as well. Neither of these teams are really favored. I think they're pretty evenly matched, and they've both been very average so far. So I think plus 195 is solid value there as well. So honestly, when I think about the fact that I just said I'm betting on 3 draws, that sounds really boring.
I don't think it is. I think that's more exciting than you think it is, because when you watch soccer, just like the score can just hold for so long, and then all of a sudden, I mean, it's kind of hockey, then all of a sudden it just goes off. So, like, imagine if this is hitting at the 80-minute mark. Like,
that's true.
Those last 10 minutes, you're going to be sweating.
Yeah. So, I mean, plus 125, plus 425, and then plus 195. So it's pretty decent value for all of them. And
the
only one that's realistic maybe might be Mexico and Venezuela tonight, but I don't think any of them are really out of possibility.
What's that at right now?
For the Mexico game, I think I got 125.
Draw, it's at plus 125, yeah. Take that. What's it at? It's at halftime. All right. I'm going to take it. All right.
Let me look up the stats for that real quick. No way there's more than like 4 shots so far. Okay, Mexico has 8 shots, so maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I'm dumb. My take just aged terribly in about 10 seconds.
No, it's okay.
Only 2 of them on target, so
yeah,
not that crazy. But at least they're getting some shots.
I thought you said 4 on target when you first were talking. That's what I heard. 4 on target.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
that's what I meant.
Yeah. So that's soccer. And Formula One. I think we covered the exotic sports for this segment.
That's our overseas portion.
Yeah, that's the overseas portion. I do have a WNBA bet parlay for tomorrow. I'm just going to do over points for Caitlin Clark at 17.5 and Angel Reese at over 14.5. Parlay those together, you're at plus 264. So, I mean, Caitlin was really close when they played each other. What was that, Sunday? I think those 2 teams played. Caitlin was off by like half point, and then Angel Reese just went off. So I have both of them going over points. So we'll see if that hits. Every time I've bet on Caitlin Clark, it's gone horribly.
Same. I always feel so confident about it too.
Shout out my boy Chris Cornett. He'll rip any Caitlin Clark bet. Let's go.
Yeah.
All
right.
So yeah, I wish I could do alternate. I would go over 20. I'm feeling that confident in it. but we'll see. Maybe that'll change tomorrow. Do you have any? Do you have anything for WNBA?
Yeah, I'm taking the Fever money line, or not money line, Fever spread at +8. And then I'm also taking the Chicago Sky spread at +10.5. They're both the Fever have been playing a lot better recently. They're
Yeah,
actually starting to string some wins together. And Seattle, I think, definitely wins this game, but I also think Clark is going to go off tomorrow. I'm probably going to bet on
yeah,
her too. So I think if she does, they can cover the 8-point spread without too much trouble. I think that like a 6-point loss is very realistic. And then with the Sky, the Aces are a lot better than them, but I don't think the Aces are at the same level they were last year. And Angel Reese had a monster game when she played Caitlin Clark this past weekend, I think. So I think if she can put together another game even close to that, I think with Las Vegas still being good, but not as good as they were last year, I think 10.5 shouldn't be that hard to cover.
yeah,
But yeah, those are my only two for the WNBA.
yeah. I like it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm never betting on the Fever at spread money line ever again.
That's very fair.
They are god awful, but all right. I do have one more bet. Chris, who's WNBA Rookie of the Year? That's a great question. I'll go. I mean, is there only two people for it right now? Since Cameron Brink went down, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Yeah, it would have to be. My pick would have
Yeah,
been Cameron, but yeah, that sucks.
yeah. I'll
So
just go Caitlin Clark. I'll pick the
yeah,
non fun answer. Let's see what their odds are at right now.
that's what I was just trying to find.
All right, awards. All there is regular season MVP. Yeah. So I mean, I would just go Caitlin Clark. Uh, yeah. I mean, they're both really good, but obviously the draw is Caitlin Clark. But with how MVPs have been going lately, especially like in these final series, Caitlin Clark seems like the favorite, but wouldn't be surprised if Angel Reese got it. It seems so. Who knows? If the WNBA wants to pander to the crowd, I think they would go Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, that'll be fun to be on social
Yeah,
media when that rolls around.
yeah. Oh yeah, the discourse over WNBA is hilarious because no one ever talked like this on Twitter ever, and then now it's like just this year everyone's an expert. Like
I
they've
know.
been covering
That's the funniest
WNBA.
thing is people talk like they're experts about it, and I know for a fact 90% of them were not
Yeah,
as invested, which they should have been, but it's just yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I just think it's funny now that everyone's an expert on it. Um, but that, yeah, I mean, we'll move on from WNBA. That's all I had. I don't, like I said, I don't have much knowledge on it, so I'm not going to like sit here and talk like I do. Um, I'm just going based off what I've seen so far. I do have one more bet for tomorrow. It's a parlay in the MLB. Um, I feel stupid for doing one of these legs, but I have to because I'm a glut for punishment. But it's a 4-leg parlay. I have the Guardians money line against the Royals. I have the Braves money line against the White Sox. White Sox are terrible. Braves are on this unreal streak right now. Braves are looking like the Braves that we all come to know and love. I got the Phillies against the Marlins. Phillies just destroying people right now. And I have the Reds over the Cardinals. Now, I shouldn't be taking the Reds because they're not serious right now. But I just have to. It's hard not to bet against them. But if you take all four of those money line, it's at plus 632. I'm only putting a unit on it just because with money line bets and the MLB, it's really hard. I
Yeah.
think it's almost a cheat code with spreads. I mean, because usually games are one or two runs like difference. So that's why I think the odds are a little bit better on this one. But at plus 632, I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, I like it. I have a couple similar picks. I also am taking the Reds against the Cards tomorrow at plus
Yeah.
114. I got the Braves and the White Sox over 7.5 runs also. Because the Braves, like you said, are on fire and the White Sox have very bad pitching. So I think, if the White Sox can score 2 runs themselves, I think the Braves can carry that over. And then I've also got the Guardians run line against the Royals at plus 142 because I thought it was a little bit better value.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to win. And I think they, like you said, I feel like most games aren't within 1 run.
Yeah.
So I think if they're going to win and just by 1 more run is plus 142, I'm going to take that value. But yeah, that's all I have for baseball.
I like it. I say we do a home run parlay for tomorrow.
I'm down.
All right. Let's see what these games look like for tomorrow.
Let's find the worst pitchers.
That's what I'm about to do. That's what I'm looking up. The game is in St. Louis for the Reds tomorrow. I would say I think Bo Naylor. He's been hot lately.
I like it.
Yeah, I'll go Bo Naylor. And we'll probably have to get these lines out to you tomorrow when they come out, just because they're not. I mean, obviously the day's not over yet, so we won't have any pitcher or batter. God, I can't talk tonight. I fucking said Uruguay instead of Uruguay, which never mind.
Yeah, we can leave that one alone, probably.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Ellie De La Cruz tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, he's been a little hot these past few weeks.
Just off of vibes.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's at 14 this year.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Chris. I didn't see that. Who has a good value right now for a World Series prop?
Ooh,
that's a good question. Yeah.
Let's take a look.
I would say right now, I think the Orioles are around plus 800 or plus 825, maybe. They weren't going to be at this huge mountaintop the whole season. So I think them at plus 850 right now is pretty good value. I also think the Phillies at plus 550, really good value. I think them and the Dodgers will be in the NLCS. So I think they're going to have a chance to play for the World Series this year. I think they're the second best team in the NL right now. So at plus 550, you got to take the Phillies. For the AL, I like the Orioles at plus 850. Or a dark horse, maybe not put so much money on this, the Guardians at plus 1100.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the Astros at plus 2000. They had a really, really bad start to the year, but I think they're back to 500. They're only 4.5 games out of first place in the AOS, which is a really mid division. But they've been on it. They've been playing much better. I think if I'm not sure what it is, but I would guess their record since that first bad stretch is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And they just know how to win in the playoffs. So I think at plus 2,000 is decent value, but they also could just come back down to earth. But I also do like you already mentioned these two, but I like the Phillies and the Orioles. I think the Phillies have been dominant. So plus 550 is decent value. I think it's a more fun bet also than the Dodgers. Because the Dodgers kind of have the dream team. And then the Orioles at 850 is solid. I think the Orioles are a little bit lower just because they got swept last year, but I don't think they're going to have that same type of performance. So
no, dude, they're like hitting on all strides right now as far as like what they need. They just need to get that hot streak. Yeah, thanks for the questions, Chris. We appreciate it.
That's a great question.
Yeah, and like you said, for the Dodgers, like I'm looking now, they're plus 310. I don't think that's great value for them, like you said. If there was like a favorite this year from start to finish in the MLB, it would be the Dodgers. So you're going to have to put a lot of money to. I mean, it's a plus 310. I mean, even if you put just a unit down, or you just want to sit on this bet for half a year to triple your money. So I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of this, I just found the exact result bets for the World Series, and I like the Phillies to beat the Orioles at plus 3,000.
Oh, I like that.
Because I think those two teams have a very good chance of making it that far. But this would be a fun bet to hang on to come playoff time. Yeah. I might make a couple more of these.
You know what? I think I'm going to put put Phillies beat Baltimore. Then if I can find a Baltimore beat Phillies. Oh my gosh. Another dark horse I like in the NL. Let me see what their odds are at here. Now this is a true dark horse because they usually don't have great success in the postseason, but the Brewers at plus 2,200. They have a team that should be able to take all the playoffs and like score runs and shut people out, but they just crap down their leg when they get in the playoffs. So at plus 2,200, I don't know. Might be worth taking a shot on.
Yeah, I like that. I wanted to say I also like the Royals at plus 4,000, but I don't know how confident I am in that one.
Yeah.
No, but they're a fun team this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Royals are like these crops of teams that are coming up, like the Diamondbacks, the Reds, Royals.
Yeah.
All these young guys, Pirates, all these young teams where it's like, all right, you guys got an electric player, but like, where's your base? There's no base to these teams. So I don't know. But that's all the bets I had for tonight. I don't know if you had anything else.
Yeah, I'll do one UFC bet, but I don't know much about UFC, so don't take this one with too much credibility. But I mean, I think it's a pretty easy one because it's minus 166 odds. But it's the Alex Pereira and the Jiri Prochazka fight. I took the over 1.5 rounds. Just because I think these guys are pretty evenly matched and they're both very good. I don't see either one of them getting submitted in the first or second round. So,
yeah.
Yeah, but that's my only UFC bet.
Yeah. I'm not gonna bet on UFC just because, like you said, I don't have enough knowledge.
Yeah, it's kind of like throwing a shot in the dark. But
yeah, usually when I bet on UFC, it's like a friend of mine. Like, I like this tonight. This is what I'm doing. I'm like, I believe in you. Let's throw some money on it.
Yeah, usually just whatever the opposite of what my friend says.
Yeah. Chris, that's a good question. He's asked any Olympic props. Nothing yet, just because there's nothing set. Right now, if I know just what like I'm seeing is like betting on Olympic medals and
Yeah.
like who's going to get the most gold medals, what country's going to have the most medals, and it's obviously USA at minus 2,500 for most medals, and it's China at plus 1,000 is your second best, so it's really not uh, worth betting on, and then USA's at minus 750 for most gold medals. But I think once like the fields get set closer, the like the betting, like the sports and everything will start to show up. We can start betting on those. Like I know if you look under like rugby, or not rugby, sorry, uh, like the handball, cycling, all that, like you'll start to see like the Olympics, like the Olympic ones pop up. So we'll just have to wait till it gets a little bit closer. But
Oh, they have I found game lines for the basketball for the Olympics.
yeah. So you just have to like go to the specific sport. I know at least that's what it
Yeah.
is
Okay,
on the
that makes a lot more sense.
yeah,
I was just trying to find like a tab for it, and all I could find was the medals, but that makes a lot more
yeah.
sense.
And then I
Yeah.
think they're gonna I think don't hold me to this. I did see where they're gonna have live betting like on events. So you can just like sit down and be like, all right, no, Lyles is about to win the men's 100. So let's just go ahead and put like $20 on that. So it'll be like
That's gonna be so
anything.
fun.
Yeah, I know. So yes, once it gets closer, I wish we had like a way to bet on politics, just because the debates this week or this Thursday. So I would just love to see if we had like a line on who was going to win. If there's a way to get a spread up there of like giving one guy like plus 2.5 digs at the other guy. So unfortunately, we don't have any of that. So we're not going to have a politics ending here. But I think that's all we're gonna talk about tonight as far as or all we can talk about. There's really not much going on as far as mainstream sports. If you want to buy like bet on like the big three or like the Chinese Super League or something like that, we could. But that's just gonna be a shot in the dark if we bet on stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and end tonight. We appreciate everyone for watching. I know it's a little bit shorter, but we'll be back next week, same time, 9:30 Eastern. Jake, are you on next week?
Yeah, I'll be.
Yep, I'll be here. Dalton should be back. JT should be back. So we appreciate everyone for watching again. Tuning in tonight. Thanks, Chris, for all the questions. We appreciate those. Definitely gave us some things to talk about. So we appreciate that. And thank you all, and have a good night, and have a good weekend.